We're in the midst of like Lebanese and potentially Iranian retaliation on Israel. It's not going to go away, especially as Israel continues to do Israel shit as a direct consequence of Biden's administration's outward failure on mismanaging this conflict, on allowing Israel no restraints, on allowing Israel to just like lean into whatever the fuck they want to do in the most violent ways possible. But ultimately, Americans by and large are not horny to fucking constantly go to war. Here is a poll. Look at this poll. Most Americans oppose sending U.S. troops to defend Israel, poll finds. Look at this poll. The poll was conducted online from June 21st till July 1st, before Haniya's assassination and the subsequent Iranian threat. We are selfish people, but in this instance, our selfish desires actually play a positive role. How is not wanting to send people to a slaughter fest for no reason selfish? Americans are selfish because in order for American existence to continue as it is, in order for you to get cheap commodities, things of that nature, there's a lot of bloodshed that happens that Americans don't pay attention to. That's what I'm saying. That's why they're selfish. You feel me? You smell me? My hope is that Waltz's constituents and the DNC pressure campaign that will inevitably happen will cause the Democrats to finally tackle the Israel issue on partisan grounds. That's maybe it's too much hopium. Maybe it's too much hopium, and it probably is. But I do think personally that this is what needs to happen going forward. Israel keeps bringing us into shit that they cause over and over again. Now you got fucking 4,000 Marines swimming around in waters that they shouldn't be swimming around in. Ain't nobody fucking wants that. That's crazy. As I showed you, the majority of Americans oppose sending U.S. troops to defend Israel, poll finds. But that's precisely what's happening currently. Beyond the utterly immoral attitude that all American politicians display as they keep reiterating their undying loyalty to this apartheid genocide state that has now officially become an international pariah due to its own actions, by the way, nothing but its own actions, especially when the Democratic Party, currently in power, has a wonderful opportunity to put an end to this all and look like fucking heroes at the end of the day. It's one phone call, chat. You don't understand. When I say it's one phone call, I cannot stress this enough. It literally is one phone call. Say it with me. No more weapons until ceasefire. 5 fucking words, okay? That's it. It stops tomorrow. That's it. Pick up the phone and say, you do not get a single additional weapons transfer until you get to the fucking table, this time with Yahya Sinwar, who apparently is now going to be leading Hamas because Israel killed the principal negotiator in charge of the hostage release agreement. Netanyahu loves that prospect. Doesn't matter who is at the chart, who is leading that Hamas ticket. One phone call. That's it. One phone call. That's all it would take, which is so disastrous that they have refused to do this when there is an argument to be made to do this from a pro-American State Department agenda. Like, that's what's crazy about it. When I say this, everybody says, Hasan, you're a fucking radical socialist piece of shit. You're Islamist fundamentalist. You love Hamas. Your name is HasanAbi, blah, blah, blah. There is an argument to be made to restrain Israel from a pro-American imperialism point of view. Do you understand? Haaretz agrees with me, but they have since October 7, and it doesn't really fucking matter because, you know, they will still say it is anti-Semitic. Israel's on the verge of a regional war. Its people are stuck in their homes, expecting a regional attack and pinning their defense on alliances that Netanyahu's Israel does not do enough to preserve and even deliberately jeopardizes. It's true. It's true. The thing is, Netanyahu loves Donald Trump. Like, it's not a secret. Israelis love Donald Trump more than they love Biden, and they definitely like Biden more than they like Benjamin Netanyahu. The reality of the matter is, Israel will not be enticed into pulling back on their genocidal ambition The bear hug strategy has not worked. The carrot has not worked. It's time for the stick. Okay? That's it. One stick. Light dab of the stick. Even the mere threat of the stick will stop this shit dead in his goddamn tracks. That's it. That's it. And it's wild that like they're not doing it. It's wild that the Democratic Party is not doing it. The bear hug strategy does work. It's bipartisan. No, I don't even think unconditional loyalty and support to Israel is a bipartisan thing any longer. More than 50% of the Democratic Party's caucuses in both the Senate and the House did not attend the fucking Netanyahu speech delivered to Congress when Chuck Schumer was one of the primary people inviting him to go speak. Those numbers have actually literally gone up since the last time. Last time he did this shit, the Republicans alone invited him to Congress to shit on Barack Obama. Okay? And there were still more Democrats there. They did not attend because of the guy. They support Israel. Okay, but the argument I'm making is still also somewhat in support of Israel too. Because if it goes down like this, Israel is already collapsing. What are we talking about? Their economy is underwater. Their people are fucking terrified of retaliation. They're doing pro-rape like January 6s, dude. What are we talking about? That's not a normal country. That's a country that is already completely collapsed. Okay? It is a hollowed out nation. It is a failed state, brother. The moment that you have motherfuckers that are doing pro-rape riots. Yeah, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, B'Tselem just published a report with over 60 testimonies of the most horrific abuse. What the fuck is a pro-rape riot? Crazy? I know. It's crazy. What's also crazy is you didn't even fucking hear about it because nobody in the Western media actually covered it. Like, they barely covered it. And when they did, they couched it under discontent occurring about the abuse of one Palestinian. That wasn't what the fuck was going on, okay? It was openly a pro-rape riot. Israeli prisoners in the Sdei Teiman concentration camp, okay, where random Palestinians from Gaza are apprehended and then released after a couple weeks, were being mass tortured. Some of those tortures, some of those horrific conditions have now been detailed by B'Tselem. Those torturous conditions were promoted by people in the governing party, from the Jewish Power Party, like Itamar Ben-Gvir, Smotrich, and the like. Because there is currently an active ICC investigation into Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, and an ICJ investigation into Israel's actions in general, an ICJ investigation that gave a preliminary decision on Israel being an apartheid state and falsely occupying territories that it should not be occupying. That happened a couple weeks ago. And because the ICC's investigations require Israel to put up a complementarity shield, dictates that the Israeli government has its own internal processes to look into war crimes that their own soldiers are doing, so that the ICC can't step in, the International Criminal Court can't step in and do it for them. The Israeli government prosecutors went after 9 Israeli soldiers in the Sdei Teiman prison camp, this concentration camp, for the crime of what? The crime of brutally, anally raping a Palestinian so horrifically with a cattle prod that he had to be hospitalized. This is one of many instances of this kind of horrific abuse. Benjamin Netanyahu's own party, Likud, in an emergency meeting that they held for the Knesset. Oh, he died? I didn't even know he had died. Now he has died. Benjamin Netanyahu's own Knesset party member stood up on an emergency meeting held and said, Israeli soldiers have the right to rape Palestinian prisoners. That's what he said. This is not a joke. This is not a meme. He just verbatim said it, okay? He did. He fucking said it. Then riots ensued. Riots that were accompanied by seated members of the Knesset egging the riots on. These riots were not because of the horrifying conditions. These riots were not a consequence of the horrifying conditions of the Sderot Taman facility that even the New York Times had written about. They were pro-rape riots. These guys were rioting outside of the prison and outside of the fucking military facility where these soldiers were being held, these rapist soldiers were being held, to free them because they believed that these soldiers had a right to rape Palestinians. You think that's a normal country? You think that normal shit's going on over there? It's not. It's not normal. Okay? It's insane. Just because, you know, Americans are completely oblivious to this fucking reality does not change the reality. All the weaponized sexual assault on October 7 propaganda has been really quiet for a while. No, they'll chirp again. That's another thing. They talked about mass serialized weaponized rape on October 7. Not a single ounce of proof was given for that. There was one verifiable act of sexual harm that was done to a hostage. Completely unacceptable. Okay? Completely unacceptable, of course. Having said that, on the other end, there are actual instances that point to serialized rape occurring on Palestinian detainees by Israeli prison guards. Verifiable. But only one side has been presented as the rapist, bloodthirsty monsters in this entire process. That side oftentimes is the voiceless side. Time Without an Ovo, our Israeli correspondent in the chat, says, B'Tselem just published a report with over 60 testimonies of horrific abuse in Israel's prison system, not just Sderot Taman. I've read many horrific things in my life, but I read these 120 pages and wasn't sure to scream, cry, or throw up. Here's just some of the things that mentioned at the tip of the iceberg. Electrocution in the neck, unleashing dogs, stun grenades, repeated beatings in the genitals, anal rape using a carrot, metal batons, broken ribs, blood everywhere, beaten for 30 minutes until they pass out, then again when they wake up, beaten by 20 soldiers before a court hearing, then beaten on the way back after their testimony, sleep deprivation, starvation, no light for months, amputation, death, horror. B'Tselem, for those of you who don't know, is an Israeli human rights organization. These are testimonies coming from Israeli prisons, not just Sderot Taman, which is a concentration camp. The report is called Welcome to Hell. Yeah, understand something. They're doing Nazi shit, and we are complicit in them doing Nazi shit. Every moment that we allow them to continue doing Nazi shit, we are complicit. So the fact that, like, the American government, the fact that the Kamala Harris campaign, the fact that the Biden administration can just kind of like skirt along and be like, well, we got the momentum on our side, we're good, we don't have to deal with this, is wrong. Okay? It's not only morally repugnant behavior to just hand wave this aside and think that it's going to go away, but it's also foolish. It's stupid. It's not going to fucking go away, man. It's not. Hundreds of millions, if not billions of people in that fucking region know what is going on. They see it. They see it every fucking day in front of their TVs. Hitching our wagon to this fucking double suicide pact with this genocidal, monstrous, reactionary piece of shit who is literally a Trump supporter, by the way. Like, he went to Mar-a-Lago to personally meet with Donald Trump. And these fucking dumbass Republicans, or I mean, these dumbass Democrats won't fucking hit this on partisan grounds.